depending on how you're doing it, what else is going to be working. You can still do the cable row, and eventually, I think the next step in terms of that exercise, and I was thinking about it, if you do a single row, so a high cable, so it's not working the upper traps, so you're pulling down, you still keep the hand out and the elbow out, so it's working the middle trapezius, rhomboids, but with the other hand it creates a rotation. So the rotation also frees up extension. But you want to do extension first. What's the law in yoga? I think the law first is extension first, rotation second. Yeah, so that's a pretty good 3,500 year law. So the next step after the extension in prone cobra and row will be then to add a rotation to it. Okay? And now, so for a boxer, right, an orthodox boxer, you want them to be rotating more to the left and vice versa. Okay? Now with the boxers who are like this, they're going to have other muscle imbalances. I did an assessment on my son. He's been doing boxing for 6 years. Right? He's 14 and he's got boxing muscle imbalances. I had the photo up here before you came in, Junior. So his left upper trap is tight. Okay? Both his lats are tight. They're equal. They're 118 degrees. So 140 is what you want. Is where at 140. Any more than that, the spine and the lats have a concomitant extension. He's 120. Right, so he can't get through there. His right quadratus lumborum is tight. His left piriformis is tight. His left glute's weak. His right hamstring's tight. Right? Which one's longer? See that's tight position. That one's a longer position, and strangely this left soleus is tight, and that one's not. Well, that's sort of a lengthened position, I suppose. I'm not sure if you can see that on camera, but it's manifesting when he runs and plays rugby and having a painful right Achilles. So he's had a painful right Achilles for playing his rugby and running, so it's been treated in his right Achilles. So I did I did a clinical assessment on him, and I thought, no, this is weak, this is too tight, this is tight, and because this is weak, this Achilles has to do all the work, and it's done too much work and manifests in pain. So what we have to do is not necessarily, and the length of that Achilles, which he's been stretching all the time because it's painful and it relieves some pain, is fine. So that doesn't really need stretching, but everything else needs stretching and strengthening so that they have good posture. Right? Now, Achilles injury can manifest in a shoulder injury too. But I don't want to digress any further. I just wanted to show there's muscle imbalances, and not always what you think they are. So what's next? Upper trapezius, like that. Okay, so that's also going to contribute to that. Also, the upper trapezius, with most people hold their stress, so you want to release that. You can release it through a simple stretch like that. We have a stretch in our crane program, which is like that. We get both at the same time, down through there. You can still do that and go to one side and then the other side. And that's to free up that. Two other neck muscles that play a role is the sternocleidomastoid. So if that's the clavicle, there's a muscle that comes all the way up and it goes from the sternum, the clavicle, and then the mastoid process. It joins there, and that does a lot of rotation. So if you're like that, right, this one's short, this one's long, so we need to stretch that. Easy way to stretch that is first do the upper trapezius stretch, and then rotate up. You can also get some pretty gnarly pincer grip and do some releases through there, which are very painful but quite effective in my experience. And the other one is levator scapula, which goes from the top of your scapula, inferior border, up into C1, 2, 3, 4, and almost the same stretch, upper trap, rotate and then pull diagonally, like that, and just 15 seconds at a time for the neck stretches statically, 3 seconds contraction, 5 seconds relax for the contract relax sort of protocol for that. So then, from there I think, so if we just recap, so thoracic, pectoralis minor, latissimus dorsi, upper trapezius, levator scapula, sternocleidomastoid. I think that's probably enough for the shoulder pain. I think you're definitely going to get a good impact. The exercises we've got is the static prone cobra, not necessarily in this order. You've got the static prone cobra, you've got the some sort of bent over row, which I would favour the TRX suspension trainer, the closed kinetic chain version, with both hands at the same time. And then I would go to more of a single hand, which you can do on the TRX, single. But I quite like the cable because the reciprocal arm can create more rotation, and the rotation helps with this thoracic extension as well, and just general day-to-day sort of walking gait action, because we don't walk like this, right? We walk like that, which is like the cable pull and push. So I think in terms of looking at a shoulder without having one particular body in front of me to do any exercises, that's the type of, that's sort of what I would be looking at to alleviate. It's certainly not correct, and I would go, I'd give myself 70% that would help. That little protocol we did there, or sort of framework, it would help, I would say, at least 70%, if not higher. Alright, so that's boxer shoulder pain, or Texas shoulder pain, or any shoulder pain. Absolutely. If those things don't work, I would just go, look, there's something else going on. Physiotherapist, doctor, MRI. Sometimes it's good just to have some peace of mind, just to see that there's not actually bony growths in there, or any other stuff that's not just normal musculoskeletal, muscle imbalance, poor posture. So give yourself like maximum 3 months of doing that sort of protocol. If nothing's sort of working, 2 weeks plus, then physio. I mean, you should get immediate results in the session, but give yourself like 2 weeks, maybe 3 months if the person's stubborn or whatever, and then send them to a doctor to just see what's going on in there, because it could be frozen shoulder, or it could be bony growth from having it broken before, like sort of basically I do in my shoulders, or something else. Okay, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.